Okay, we will call this regular council meeting to order. It's 3 p.m., July 14th. And I'd just like to ask Councillor Bates to please do the land acknowledgement.
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. The town of Innisfail acknowledges that we are meeting on Treaty 7 territory, the ancestral and traditional territory of the Blackfoot Confederacy, Kainai, Piikani, Siksika, as well as the Tsuut'ina First Nation and the Stoney Nakoda First Nation. We acknowledge that this territory is home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3, within the historical Northwest Métis homeland. We acknowledge the many First Nations, Métis and Inuit, who have lived in and cared for these lands for generations. We are grateful for the traditional knowledge keepers and elders who are still with us today and those who have gone before us. We make this acknowledgement as an act of reconciliation and gratitude to those whose territory we reside on.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Bates. And CEO Becker, did you just want to talk about the system, technological system?
Thanks, Mayor Barkley. I'll have communications just to relay what's occurring with our new system. We'll see if this fits council's desire, but just want to let you know we're in the process of finalizing this project over the forthcoming days. But today it looks like there is a glitch, but we'll just explain to you what that is.
Sure. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Barkley. So we did do tests on this last week. The system was working. Something seems to have changed since Friday afternoon. I think it's a programming error. And so what we're seeing on the live stream is actually what we're seeing on the screen. So the camera is not connected to the live stream. It is recording, so our audio is recording. So I'm recording on the camera to get a video feed of what's happening in the room. But for the live stream, all we can see is the agenda.
Okay, no, that's fine. Thank you for that. Okay, we'll move on to 2.1, and the first thing on the agenda today is swearing in of our Deputy Mayor Dale Dunham. So, just raise your right hand, please. Okay, so I, Dale Dunham,
I, Dale Dunham,
do swear that I will diligently, faithfully, and to the best of my ability, execute according to law, the office of Deputy Mayor for the town of Innisfail, so help me God.
for the town of Innisfail, so help me God.
Okay, thank you. All right, and we'll move into 3.1. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? No? Could I please have someone adopt the agenda as presented?
I'll do that, Mayor Barkley.
Thank you, Councillor Maceras. All in favor? All right, carried. And we'll move into 4.1, the regular council meeting minutes for June the 23rd. Councillor Bates.
I'll move those minutes.
All right, thank you. Any changes to anything? No? All in favor? All right, carried. And today we have a delegation with us. So CEO Becker, I'll get you to introduce the delegation.
Thanks, Mayor Barkley. I'd like to introduce the delegate, Mr. Bob Brewer, who has some concerns with the railroad speeds, et cetera, just regarding speeds going through the community. I think there's some other items he'd like to talk to you about the railroad, so I will leave to Mr. Brewer to explain. We have had some administrative discussions with Mr. Brewer, and so we can certainly add into the conversation, but Mr. Brewer wants to exercise his right to be a delegate before council.
Yeah, for sure. Welcome, Mr. Brewer. Welcome. No, Juanita will just help you. There you go. Perfect. Yeah, the red light.
Okie dokie.
Okay.
Thank you. For openers, I'd like to say me and the railways don't look eye to eye. If ever there was an incident, I would be one of the very first to get an unwanted visit because I'm next to the railway in my mobile home. A few years ago, I reported an incident where I'm sitting at the barricades waiting for the train to go by. And every time in between rail cars, a joint in the rail goes popping up and down and up and down, up and down. Well, that's kind of scary. Anyhow, what I'm getting at is, so I get a bird's eye view of the trains going by, and most of them go through at a decent speed, except this fellow on June the 8th, with 800 hours. It seemed like he was late for coffee with his buddies in Lacombe. He was flying. So that didn't sit right with me, so I went to the RCMP and was told, we have nothing to do with this. The railways have their own police. You can phone them. Well, I've got an awful lot of pull with him, yeah. Anyhow, it didn't sit right with me, so I pursued this further, and I wanted to be talking to council, and I was told first maybe you can talk to Todd, and I did talk to Todd and told him what it was all about, and he said he would look into it. The next thing I know, I came home and I had a message on my machine from, I think his name is Derek, Officer Derek. And he told me he checked with the railway police, and yes, the speed limit is 45 miles an hour. That's 72 kilometers going through town. Well, okay, but other than that, no. So I wasn't satisfied with that answer, but in the long run, I finally got to talk. I talked to Gary, and I'm speaking of your playground zone on 54th Avenue. Now, theoretically, your playground zone extends all the way across the tracks to people's fences on the other side, because you've got no defined boundary. Now, you tell that to a kid, you see that line in the sand? You're not to cross that. Even an adult would have a hard time. Across the street, you got a school zone, you got a playground zone, and you got a fence around it to tell the kids, hey, this is it. This is where you stay, this is where you're safe. Here, that playground, you got nothing. Now, Gary tells me you do a lot of work in the schools, talking about safety and this and that. I'll give you one incident that I observed personally, where an educator coming from the arenas with a bunch of kids carrying hockey bags and hockey sticks walked across the street as if nothing ever existed, neither looked right nor left nor stopped nor activated the pedestrian crosswalk. So much for education. I would implore you to make a definite boundary for people to see. This is as far as you can go. Beyond that, no, no, no. But just to lecture is not enough. This is my opinion. And I don't know. But the bottom line here is, how much is a life worth? Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you for coming, Mr. Brewer. We appreciate it. So did Todd or Director Leith, did you want to add anything? Have you had discussions with speed through Innisfail by CP? And
Yeah, Your Worship, certainly note to Bob's concern. 54 Ave is inconsistent signage-wise with our playground zones. This is more of a green space than a playground zone. Historically, I believe it was placed there to reduce speed and prevent the cut through there on 54 Ave. It was good for Bob to bring that forward, and in discussion with Director Kennedy, for consistency, it probably would be more beneficial to have that 30 km/h speed posting at that point rather than a playground zone, which that area doesn't meet the criteria for playground zone. In respect of train speed within our community, as we're aware, it's federally governed. CPKC do have a community connect where members of the public can complain if they see acts that they consider unsafe, such as speed, driver, lack of attention, anything occurring in respect of their cargoes, so fires, vapor gassing off, smell, odor, etc. So that's the quickest method to turn around and deal with that. We certainly can be a conduit for the community in some respects to that, but certainly the time, place, location is key. Incidentally, we did have an issue with an engine going through last week, which was had a mechanical issue, which appeared to make it look like it was on fire. Traveling through the community, community members reported that, and we were able to deal with it and have the train stop by Bowden.
Do we know, Director Leith, what like I understood the speed was to be 50 kilometers per hour through the community?
So based upon the classification of the rail, which I believe is a class 3, is 40 miles per hour is the speed limit. However, due to the design and location, that they're not able to make those speeds on this section of track. So the average would likely be around that 40 kilometers an hour or less.
Okay, I understood when we went to the no whistle, the whistle cessation, that it was to be 50 kilometers, but that was a while ago now, so, okay. So next steps are,
Member Barclay, to council, if there's any further questions of the delegation, administration looking for any further direction for information to look into to the delegates' concerns. Yeah, we can certainly have further dialogue with CPKC, just with a concern, and we can direct Mr. Brewer to make a formal complaint through the Connect program.
yeah, I guess I'm curious, like, was that when that incident, Mr. Brewer, was it reported, the June 8th incident? And did you report the June 8th incident to CPKC?
I beg your pardon?
Did you report the June 8th incident to CPKC?
Did I report it?
Yes.
No, like
Okay.
I said, I don't have any pull as an individual. I don't think that probably would hit the waste bags as soon as it hit the desk. I don't think I'd get anywhere. That's why I wanted to talk to council, you know, and get your backing.
Sure, yep. Yeah. Okay. Counselor, yeah, I was going to say Counselor Heisted.
Councillor Wing was before me.
Counselor
Fine,
Wing
that's
then.
all good, thank you. No, I just wanted to thank you for coming in. I certainly hear your concern loud and clear. So yes, CEO Becker, if we can have administration working with Mr. Brewer, and then probably a report from you and a report from the town administration will give a little bit more weight to that problem, because that's a concern. That's a huge concern. And so I think, I think that opportunity to have administration work with you is going to be good.
Counselor Heisted.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor Barkley. I encourage you to call CPKC. I think it's, you may think that your call may go to the wastebasket and that, but it's like you coming here today. We need to hear from people, and so does CPKC. Hearing from the citizens, but we appreciate you coming forward. My next question would be for your administration's Director Leith, just as the 30-kilometer zone that you are recommending a change for that, just to have that 30-kilometer signage. Am I correct?
Your Worship, through to Councillor Heisted, yes, that to be consistent in those green spaces, it's always something that we're striving to be, is consistent in how we signpost speed limits or school zones, playground zones. This area isn't consistent with that, so that would be some work to do with.
Is your
operations.
recommendation? Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Brewer, do you see that as a win today? Coming here.
I don't know how much further I can pursue this, but I do have a buddy that's been a railroader for ever and ever and ever. And Charlie went as far as he could to check out the records because, like I said, that guy was just in a hurry to get to his coffee. And they do keep records as to when, what happened, where, but Charlie couldn't quite get 100% there. But like I say, I see the trains go by and, you know, I can gauge between somebody that's flying and somebody that's driving decent. But other than that, I know some time ago I headed out with a trailer court, even though they post a 20-kilometer speed zone and people fly through there, don't give a hoot. And I asked one of my police buddies, I said, what if I stood out there sometime with a hairdryer and really skate the living daylights out of them? Could I get in trouble? And he said, not as long as you don't wear a uniform. So
Yeah.
I'm almost tempted to go and stand out there and, hey, engineer, slow down.
Well-
It scares me, you know? I mean, they take between here and Lacombe to bring that train to a stand, even at a slow speed, you know, with all that weight pushing. And like I say, I've been a kid once, and so have you. Did you always obey your parents, their teaching? What do they know? I can beat that train. I can fetch that Frisbee before the train gets there. I've been there. I don't want to go there.
Thanks for coming in today. Thank you.
Welcome.
Councillor Bates.
So I just wanted to kind of quickly summarize what I think I heard about speeds. So the issue that Director Leith was talking about moving down to 30 kilometers an hour, that's a playground and we're talking roads. Is that correct? Nothing to do with the railway. And your comment, Mr. Burr, about within the trailer residential area, it was that you're talking roads. So, and as I, in all the time and dealing with the train cessation of the whistles and everything else, speed has been discussed frequently, and usually the complaint that I hear is they're too slow because they block the crossings for 10 minutes and with long trains. And I'm not saying I'm taking a side. And Director Leith, the actual speed that the railway says they're allowed to is 40 miles per hour? Because I think I heard 45 from Mr. Brewer when I first.
Yeah, it's based upon theirs is 40
miles per
miles
hour.
per hour.
Okay. And I quickly grabbed my calculator, 64 kilometers an hour. Okay, no, thank you for the clarifications. I just wanted to, I think the thing that we have the most control over is the playground, obviously. And I do remember from frequent discussions that the CPKC Railway Police actually have more jurisdiction than the RCMP when it comes to the railway itself, is what I understand. So, like Councillor Heisted, I wouldn't hesitate to call the RCMP if I had an issue. Don't hesitate to call the CPKC Railway. Thank you. You'll see them at the Christmas train always. They're here to control things, and thank you.
Yeah, me too. I would encourage you to phone about that incident. We always encourage people when they hear about other incidents in town to phone bylaw or RCMP. So the only way that they will know is if somebody calls. And you're right, I'm sure that they do have records. I'm surprised this day and age, maybe they know how fast their trains are going. But I would definitely call Mr. Brewer, and then you can always connect through our CEO, Todd Becker, again after that if you're not satisfied, and let him know what the outcome of that call is. And, we can help follow up with that. But I think it would be wise to make the call in the first place and see what that outcome is.
Yeah, well, I don't hold out much hope in
Well, I
taking
know,
on the
but,
railways, but
but you're not. You're just phoning in about an incident in our community that you feel is unsafe, and, you know, and your concern is valid, so I think they should know about it. And like I said, follow up with Mr. Becker after that, if, with the outcome of that conversation, and then we can see where we go from there, if that works for you.
okay.
Okay, yeah, but thanks for
I-
coming in.
Mayor
Yeah,
Barclay, I have one.
It's just one further comment I'd have to make. It's just hindsight is, what is it, 20/20 or 50/50?
Always.
Yeah, a lot of mistakes were made in the past. My son-in-law and daughter originated with the ambulance in Innisfail, and then in Airdrie. And whenever they had a call out on the west side of Airdrie, they were pulling their hair out because there was only one way getting in and out across the railway tracks. So they have a patient that's in dire medical attention and they can't get across the tracks. So in hindsight, I don't know what people were thinking. They allow development to both sides of the tracks. Could have been easily avoided if somebody had had foresight back then. That's my opinion.
Okay, well, thank you for that.
Okay?
Okay, all right, thanks for coming in.
All right.
All right.
I'll can talk to you later then on some, how to get in touch or, okay,
Okay,
okay.
thank
very
you.
much
See
for
you
your
later.
input.
All right. And Counselor Bates, you had,
Well, I was just going to add one other thing with respect, even if we all left here today with an understanding and an agreement from the railway and everything else of a speed, that doesn't mean 3 days from now somebody won't violate it. That's, so you need to, again, if each incident, I think, mention it. And my own personal observations is the trains go through north faster than they go through south because they're loaded going south and slightly uphill till they get to the middle of the town, and then the north ones are usually going pretty quick.
all right. Thank you for that conversation. We will move into 6.1 now with our CEO, Todd Becker, and his report, please.
Thanks, Mayor Barkley. Hello, Council. First item on the agenda on the CAO reports is just I want to inform Council there has been preliminary development interactions between the town representatives and owner representatives of Hereford Meadows property. Just letting you know that there has been some conversation just regarding development and infrastructure requirements for potentially for a project there. Any further dialogue or information, council would be subject to FOIP, would require to move in the camera if you would like further dialogue about that topic. I just letting you know that those conversations are occurring. Similar, anything further on this next item would require an in-camera conversation with FOIP, is to let you know that administration has been in conversation with representatives of property owners of 5119 48th Street in relation to an enforcement action issued by the town. Again, the report is pretty vague, just letting you know those interactions have occurred. Further detail would require an in-camera conversation. Also, the Aquatic Center modernization project has been initiated. We'll likely see an ongoing agenda item related to Aquatic Center project updates on ongoing council meetings. But for today, just wanted to let you know that there has been, pool has been closed, project has been commenced with closure. I can say, as per the director's feedback this morning, that the abatement of asbestos has been initiated. Of course, with the social media messaging that we noticed in relation to the universal change rooms or private change room areas, administration did provide additional notification specific to the universal change rooms. So I'll leave that for you, if there's any questions relating to that information that was submitted, which is attached to this report. And lastly, I just want to let you know, we have not heard formally by Red Deer County, but we were informed just watching the media and through a quick conversation with county administration that there is some dollars coming towards the town, potentially, Aquatic Center funding in the value of 1.65 million. Again, we have not seen the specifics of those conditions, but it sounds like it is conditional with some terms, et cetera. Again, I can't get into much more detail besides seeing the actual paperwork of what that will be. So I'll leave the report to you, council. If there's any questions on their report or anything else with administration operations, I'd be happy to answer your questions.
All right, thank you, CEO Becker. Does anybody have any questions? Councillor Hystad.
Yeah, no, I appreciate CO Becker, your report. Overall, there's a lot going on. I know that in your report you had commented on the pool itself. I guess sitting around, watching social media and that, the only question that I would have, and just put it back onto CAO Becker and the directors, with this ongoing project, and I'm sure that there'll be ongoing conversations in the future. I know that there's other projects out there, and I'm the field trip guy, and I was thinking about this subject, on the weekend, and I know I believe it's Drayton that has a pool that would be a brand new facility, right? Is it a pool or is it Drayton? Maybe, in our upcoming, communications or work with the citizens, maybe there's an opportunity to showcase some of these other areas or take some people up to these facilities and showcase what's going on out there across the province, or maybe it's not that far down the road as to some of the facilities that are out there. I know that, we get a lot on our plate, but, it's just one of those things that I'm seeing in the media itself or social media itself. And then I guess the other question would be it's the IPD team, right? Is it or IDP?
ICF,
ICF. Okay.
Intermunicipal Collaboration.
No, I'm talking about the pool planning stuff.
IPD, yes. Yeah.
Is there going to be an opportunity to sit down with you guys in the future and talk about some of the further communications there?
The intention of the report, that Councillor Hystad is really to listen from council if there's anything you wish to advance in, if there's communications you're seeing, any gaps, anything further beyond what's already been released. So certainly put it back to council if there's anything further you'd like to see. Again, we're responding to questions with the project now advancing. Formally, we'd like to provide you within the council meetings details to the project. Communications beyond what's being produced, certainly welcome that feedback from council.
Okay. No, I appreciate your information. Thanks, CO Becker.
Okay, any other discussion? If not, I'll please have someone make a motion to accept the CAO's report. Councillor Dunham.
I'll make that motion, Mayor Barkley.
Great, thank you. All in favor? All right, carried. And we'll move into council action control. And if there's no questions, I'll just have someone make a motion that we accept council action control as presented, please.
I'll make that motion, Mayor Barkley.
Thank you, Councillor Maceras. All in favor? Okay, carried. Okay, and we'll move into 7.1 now, request for decision on a road closure with Director Jenkins.
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. So we're looking for council to consider first reading of bylaw 1741, 2025, and to set a public hearing date. So this bylaw is with respect to closing a portion of 44th Street Crescent as a part of the Napoleon South development area. So the road realignment, Juanita, if you want to scroll to the map, next one there, you can see, so the existing roadway follows that dashed red line around the left. The new corner for the roadway will follow the blue line, so there is a requirement to close that red portion, which is considered within the road plan. So a A road closure is a process that's highly regulated through the MGA, so we're required to grant first reading and host a public hearing. Notification will run in the newspaper, as well as utility companies being notified. We'll then host a public hearing. We've identified August 11th as the suitable date for that hearing. Following the public hearing, a summary of comments received then have to be forwarded to the Minister of Transportation for approval prior to council considering the final readings of the bylaw. Provided everything proceeds as identified, the road closure bylaw would then be submitted along with the subdivision registration package to land titles.
All right. Does anybody have any questions for Director Jenkins? Councillor Bates.
I don't.
Okay.
I'm willing to make the first motion
Okay.
that council approves first reading of bylaw 1741, 2025 as presented.
All right. Thank you. Discussion. Councillor Heistad.
Yeah, thanks, Your Worship. I just was wondering, this map, sometimes, I think it's my age too with my eyes, just if you can go to it, I think it just helps having it up there. Yeah, thanks. Just what's going on. So, yeah, I kept on looking at this map, so. No.
Do you have a
Okay.
question?
No, no, I'm good.
Okay. No,
Thanks.
Perfect. All right. Anybody else have any questions? No? Okay. We have the first reading then, a motion, all in favor? All right, carried. And then we also have another motion to set a public hearing. Somebody could make that, please. Councillor Dunham.
Absolutely, Mayor Barkley. I move that council sets August 11th, 2025 at 3 p.m. in the council chambers as the date and time for the public hearing for bylaw 1741-2025.
All right, thank you. Any further questions? Okay, all in favor? And carried unanimously, thank you. All right, we will move on to 7.2, a request for decision on the arena advertising policy.
Okay, so we're looking to continue some discussion with council that we started back on June 2nd. At that time, administration requested input from council related to advertising in the arena and how requests from user groups to sell advertising should be managed. At that time, council asked us to bring back some information with respect to other municipalities, as well as facility usage by various user groups. So our existing policy 2019-003 is our advertising and sponsorship, provides very high-level direction with respect to advertising, and that it be offered in an open, fair, and equitable manner. Currently, arena advertising is offered directly through the town. This is our rink boards, our ice resurfacer, ads within the ice surface itself. These in 2024, generated just over $21,000. In addition to those opportunities, the Innisfail Eagles hockey team is also able to market up to 25 wallboard signs with $100 from each sign coming to the town. So in 2024, there were 9 wallboard signs provided, or that were sold by the Eagles that then submission came into the town. We have been approached by other groups looking for opportunities to market and display their advertising. So again, going back to council's requests for some input from what other municipalities do, generally it does vary. So many municipalities market directly. Red Deer, Sylvan Lake, Penhold, and Bowden, and Crossfield all market or are in control of all of their own advertising. Some use external marketing companies such as Rec Media that actually handle the paperwork and that part of it on a commission basis, but that it's all going through to the municipality. Some facilities, Olds, Black Falls, and Camrose, they all allow their major junior teams to market the advertising within their facilities. And then there are some other unique opportunities that some municipalities offer as well. One example is in Airdrie, they have a sign within one of their communities that, or one of their facilities that the Chamber of Commerce is able to market that sign. So it does kind of vary, but it tends to be either through the municipality or if there are major teams that those are provided that opportunity. In terms of stats, essentially just broken out the primary user groups based on the hours of usage as well as based on the revenue. So you can see those there, minor hockey being, of course, the primary user, looking at hours as well as revenue. You see a bit of a differentiation as the rates for lacrosse are far lower than the ice rates, so dry surface is less expensive than ice rental, so there is some differentiation when you look at it based on revenue. So administration has tried to come up with some potential ways to allow, if the desire is to continue to allow opportunities for external groups to have the opportunity to market, how we can make that more of a fair or open process. So the example we'd like some input from council on today is looking at essentially dividing the 2 ice surfaces into 4 wall locations. Juanita, if you scroll up to the page with the pictures on it, so the one before, sorry, the first, sort of identified 2 areas within each ice surface for wallboard advertising. These could be made available to user groups with the opportunity for user groups to market advertising within those areas. The town would require a payment for each of those areas, similar to what the current situation is with the Eagles. The advertising would remain up 12 months of the year regardless of signage, or regardless of season, and that they would be allocated on a lottery system. Locations would be allocated for a 5-year period. So essentially, interested user groups could identify spaces that they would be interested in. They would then have the opportunity to sell those spaces for a 5-year period. At the end of the 5 years, it would be sort of put up, and groups again could put their names forth. In addition, users will continue to be able to display advertising during their bookings. So some of the banners, the first picture we talked about, the Mavericks, their banners, they are able to put those up during their bookings, but they do need to be taken down every time they are put up. So at this point, we're looking for some feedback before we move to drafting a full policy. If this is a direction council would like to go, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Director Jenkins. Okay, I will open it up for questions. Director, Councillor Hystad.
Thanks, Your Worship. Question to Director Jenkins. I was going to call you CEO Becker. Actually, I spoke on this last time it came to the table. Is about equity between all the groups. How I'm looking at this after I reviewed it, I think it'd be really good for the users of the facility too to kind of have an idea of maybe it's sitting down with some of those users and saying, hey, are you guys wanting to work together with the walls and making sure that it's equitable that way? Because at the end of the day, we want to have the advertising in the arena. Really, we want to make sure that it's fair across the board throughout the whole arena. And that's how I'm looking at it, as communication with those user groups and just making sure that they're all on the same page, that they don't feel excluded. And I know, speaking for myself with the Eagles have done a pretty good job with, advertising and having that opportunity. But we need to make sure it's equitable across the table. And I don't think, and this is me speaking on my councillor's role, is that I don't think it doesn't matter what side of the wall the advertising is going to be in, those advertisers, we only have so many advertisers or businesses in town too, unless you go out of Innisfail, you go to Red Deer or outside the 30, 40 kilometers where you get some of those bigger advertisers. So that's how I'm looking at this one is having a sit down with those user groups. That would be great. I think there's tons of potential with this, not only for those users, but the community. So thanks, Mayor Barkley.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Councillor Bates?
More question. So we have an understanding with the Eagles now. It must have, does it have a term or is it?
It does not specify a term. I believe it's in the package there.
So, and when it's mentioned, so they have the ability to market 25, and then I think I'm reading that there would be another 15, is that, or what am I reading, that there would be 15, an opportunity for 15?
15 per location. If we were going to go this way, we would have to sort of give the Eagles notice that the terms of the MOU would be changing and that we would be implementing a new policy.
The 15 per location would be per those ovals?
Per little square, essentially 3 segments of the building
Okay.
on each side.
Okay, no, I'm just trying to understand that. Thank you.
Right, anyone else? Councillor Hystad, you have your light on again?
Have we ever thought of naming the building, like itself, outside of the building?
So the current advertising package is there. At this time, we don't have the full facility. We have the 2 ice surfaces, sort of the blue rink and the red rink. We haven't established an overall naming for the
Name
facility.
of the arena? Is that something that's been considered in the past?
We've generally talked about sort of facility naming and advertising going
Yeah.
back to the skate park. It hasn't been something that there's been significant sort of resources and time put towards that marketing program.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Wing?
Excuse me, thanks, Mayor Barkley, and through to Director Jenkins. So appreciating that we do have our relationship with the Eagles and however that looks. Are we suggesting, though, that we would be allocating some of the Eagles advertising over to the other side rather than where they play? Or are we going to be open enough to say we'll put advertising where it's relevant to whoever is in that part of the building?
So essentially, we would be looking at identifying those 4 locations. Sort of my thought would be that the Eagles are there, they would maintain their space for that sort of first 5-year term of the policy. At the end of the 5 years, it's then a lottery system for each location. So if someone is, whichever user groups are interested in the Blue Rink South, those would be put forward. They would be able to sell that. If anyone's interested in Blue Rink North, again, they can put their name forward for the areas that they are interested in selling, but it would give those others opportunities for that. So the Eagles would be able to maintain, and again, council can change the direction that they would maintain sort of for the first 5 years of the policy, but then it would come up through a lottery type of system if there are other groups interested in marketing in a similar fashion.
Okay, thanks for that. I guess my comment is, I think we need to be mindful of how teams like the Eagles, but also our major lacrosse, support themselves. And so trying to sell advertising to people, to organizations in support of their team that won't be seen by the audience will really cause problems for them. So just in the future, for 5 years down the road, I think there's a broader conversation then that says, where is it appropriate? Thank you.
Councillor Dunham?
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. Through to Director Jenkins. Thank you so much for bringing back the information from the other communities. I agree with Councillor Hystad. I think, reaching out to the user groups to sort of get a little bit of feedback from them before just going forward with this, because I look at those areas and we only see however many boards that are up there currently, and how many more is there the potential for, and can there be maybe a different hierarchy system where maybe it's not that swath of the 3 sections on the south and the 3 on the north, and maybe it's more of a kind of first come, first served basis, because whether the sponsor is in a certain section, as long as it's on the rink that is applicable to where their audience is, to me, that would seem more appropriate. But yeah, that's just what I'm looking at, is that, with that middle where there's just the banner, if the Eagles aren't able to sell that, is there a way that we can structure it in that all user groups have an opportunity to fill that space, and it's more dependent on when they get their name and as to what their position is within that?
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? So Director Jenkins, has there been interest from other user groups? I think you've mentioned that there has been.
Yes, so we have had interest from Mavericks Lacrosse in terms of the ability to have a permanent advertising that they could sell. And it's really not something we've put out to any other users
So
previously.
with minor hockey as an example, because there's so many teams, do you see that becoming a minor hockey spot or a team-specific spot?
I would think it would need to be by organization. That's
I just
that's
think
how
of all
they
the
would fundraise.
organizations in minor hockey. That's, how that all works out too. So, yeah. Yeah, well, we'll leave it with you and have some further discussion and.
I guess just sort of confirming that the general feedback is that we need to find some way to allow the
Yes.
user groups the ability to market for their own fundraising purposes.
Yes,
Okay?
yeah, definitely. And we do have a recommended motion here, so I'll just, I'm sorry, Councillor Bates.
So, and I saw some comment in here about the TV advertising. Was that intended to be the TV where we put the dressing room schedule up in
Yes.
between?
Yeah.
Because I still think there's an opportunity, and I think I've said it before, to put a dedicated advertising TV in there. That because a lot of the parents and others, when they're waiting for stuff to happen, they sit there and look at it. And I'm sure some of the local restaurants and whatever, and that could be directed to the town or could be to the sport it could be anywhere. But I think there's an opportunity for a dedicated advertising TV.
Okay, are you good with everything, Director Jenkins? Okay, I'll just have someone make the recommended motion then, please. Councillor Wing.
Thanks, Mayor Barkley. I would move that council direct administration to prepare appropriate amendments to the 2019-003 advertising and sponsorship policy to specifically include arena advertising and opportunities for user groups.
All right, thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor? Okay, carried, thanks. So 8.1. I don't think there is, I didn't have any correspondence in my package. Okay, so no correspondence. Okay, so we'll go into council reports, starting with Councillor Dunham.
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. My apologies for not having got mine in last week. I did attend, outside of my council role, the IWIC Youth Conference, which was a wonderful morning at the school campus with Councillor Heisted. I look forward to what happens next year. I was able to attend the Canada Day Pancake Breakfast at the Historical Village. Unfortunately, I did miss the events on June 30th due to some heat stroke. I also was able to attend the Innisfail Aquatic Center Barbecue and then a CAO information meeting here a few days ago. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councillor Dunham. Councillor Bates.
My report is there. The only comments I make is you can ask Councillor Maceros about her proficiency at golf, which was all attained at the Rotary tournament. Upcoming, it looks like I've got a lot of police things happening. Thank you.
That doesn't, sounds a bit ominous. Okay, Councillor Maceros.
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. Yeah, also apologies for not submitting my report. Had a couple of, well, one MPC meeting, some fun activities with Canada Day on June 30th and July 1st, cupcakes and cake and so on. The Aquatic Center event last Sunday was it was a great event to mark the closure. And yeah, so thanks to some coaching from Mayor Barkley, I improved my metrics from where I started, just hoping to make a connection with the ball, to making a 140-yard drive. So I'm going to be back on that course coming soon. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councillor Wing.
Thank you, Mayor Barkley. I did submit my report. We did enjoy a nice 2-week vacation. We celebrated Canada Day in Slave Lake, and I was proud to see lots and lots of Canadian flags up in that area and lots of people engaged in festivities and celebrations. So I'm glad everyone here had a good time, but it was celebrated in the rest of the province, so that was good.
All right, thank you. And Councillor Heistad?
Yeah, Your Worship, I apologize not getting my report in. My report's similar to Councillor Dunham's, the IWIC Youth Conference, RCMP event coming up tomorrow, as well as Canada Day events and Aquatic Barbecue and CEO meeting. So, thanks.
All right, thank you. And my report's in there. Just want to point out, well, first of all, there was 1,000 people at the pancake breakfast on Canada Day that was served, so it was massive. And I think this last week, I just want to mention John Powell, our Economic Development Officer, and we traveled to Calgary on Wednesday morning to Invest Alberta breakfast reception, and the town of Innisfail was awarded the Best Alberta Belt Buckle Award. I should have brought it out and put it out on here today, but it was for the work that administration did with Deep Sky. So certainly interesting time that morning. Able to do some networking and lots of discussions around the great things that are happening here. So congratulations to John and administration for all the great work you did on the Deep Sky attraction. And I'll report on Alberta Mid-Sized Towns Mayor Caucus next time. All right, so we will move into upcoming events. And then we'll just have a motion, please, to accept the upcoming events as information. Councillor Dunham.
Mayor Barkley, I'll make that motion.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? All right, carried. And then we'll have a motion to go in camera. Councillor Heistad.
Motion to go on camera.
All in favor? All right, good. Thank you. We'll just take a 5-minute